He got sacrificed. You watched a ritual human sacrifice. Charlie got sacrificed. Uh, Probably because he didn't want to play ball. Would be BAAL if you want. And if you watched that and you saw that, you saw people gloat about it. This is nothing new. In the past, when there used to be public executions, which that was, the demons are present, right? And they're looking for people who are getting off on disgusting stuff like this. And then that's an opportunity for people to be preyed upon by demons. They laughed, they gloated, and then they made these really disturbing videos, and you saw people's faces, and it was really gross. Yeah, those people got possessed, probably more than they were before. They were open to evil, and then when they laughed at watching this guy's execution and saying that it was a good thing, instead of just kind of being shocked and going, oh man, like I didn't like that guy, but that's awful. I didn't know it was going to be such a big deal, to be honest with you. When did that happen? Because did that happen on September 11th, or did it happen like... I remember hearing about it at somebody else's house, and they said, oh yeah, did you hear that this guy got killed? Did you know who he was? And I said, yeah, I did. And they said, somebody killed him. And I said, oh, he used to speak at colleges and stuff. And I'm like, why did they shoot that guy? That's pretty grim. And then I forgot about it. And then I went home and I watched videos that night, not about him. I just went to the channels that I usually check in on, because like an old person, I have a sheet of paper. I don't have like algorithm. So I looked at my list of paper. I'm like, okay, I'll check Legacy Media Validation, see if because he talks about movies. And then he had a video on Charlie, and I watched it, and his video included brain scans. And I thought, that'll be my video. And so then I made a video on it, and then it came out, you know, like the week, I think, I don't know when my video came out. You can look at the date. And my video was just a link. Go watch Legacy Media Validation's video on Charlie and the brain scans. I didn't think I'd be doing this video that I'm doing, but there's a couple things I have to say. Like when random number generators sort of predict that something's going to happen, well, the powers that be know what it is that they have planned. The Skeksis over in the Crystal Castle, they want to drain vital essence. They want to do energy harvesting. So they can do that through the internet screen, through computer screens. So they can see that some kind of event's going to happen. Like before what happened on September 11th happened, the random number generators said, oh, we don't know what's going to happen, but something's going to happen. Well, they know what they're going to do, so they can tell if what they want to do is on the right track, which is on the course of evil. If there's a cohesiveness that there's going to be some kind of event. So this event of sacrificing Charlie was pre-planned, and they wanted to harvest as much energy as possible. Remember years ago, there's a famous clip that you can go watch online. Other people get away with it. I can't use a lot of things because I'm just not allowed to use clips. Like my videos get blocked worldwide and everything, and like 30 people get to see them, and my videos aren't very good. I don't know why I get so picked on, but I don't, because like look at my channel. There's not a lot of views or subscribers, and yet I'm glad you're here. So Madonna did the Super Bowl many moons ago, and she pointed at the audience and she said, you are now all participants in a Kabbalistic ritual. And she meant you at home watching the Super Bowl. Probably even people watching it at a later date. It was her informing everyone, if you watch this, I get to harvest your energy for my ritual. And her ritual is done at the behest of, you know, her evil overlords and everything. She's a dark Kabbalist or whatever. And she's basically a witch. She's a Kabbalistic witch. And so when you see these performances, they harvest your energy. You know, Taylor Swift concerts, people being like by hundreds, if not thousands of people being outside wherever she's performing, just trying to listen in from a distance. She's a witch. She told you she's a witch. That's energy harvesting too. When JFK was assassinated and it traumatized the country, that's another form of harvest, occult energy harvesting. What is this energy harvesting stuff? I can speak about it in terms of Wilhelm Reich. Wilhelm Reich invented these things called orgone accumulators, and I laugh because it's like kind of a crazy thing. He said that he could harvest the energy of the orgasm and that it could be redirected and used. He also came up with what's called the Cloudbuster gun, which is weather tech, which is a gun, like it looks like a turret gun, and you can shoot it up at the clouds and make it rain and affect weather change. We know that the jets fly over and they affect changes in weather. That's open now. We know that there's weather manipulation technology. When there was the floods in Texas, the guy who came up with the tech said, "Now don't come after me or my family. I had nothing to do with them using that weather tech in the floods in Texas where people got killed." There was also weird, they say that there was weather influencing technology used in North Carolina because they want access to the lithium that's there. It's rich in lithium. How about that? Specifically where they cleared space so that they could go get it. And, you know, they have city planning meeting in Hawaii, and then the next thing you know, it's on fire. City planning meeting for a 15-minute smart city that the people weren't interested in, and they're like, well, uh-oh, it's on fire now. And they do this in California and wherever else there's fires that people say are done on purpose to clear real estate so that they can do 15-minute smart cities. And so these traumatic events are old-fashioned ritual sacrifices. When the people die, they're harvesting our fear energy. Wilhelm Reich, so they say, got locked up for his wacky shacks where he has somebody go beat off in a little shed and harvest their Coombs energy. And they locked him up for it, but they kept the tech. So they say they locked him up for it, that it was unethical stuff. But I mean, basically he just figured, however he figured it out, he figured out tech to harvest energy, the energy of an orgasm. Think about how many people are edging and gooning. Where's that energy go? It's being harvested. You think your digital harlots are getting all those tributes you're paying in your goo? Probably not only. They probably have it's paying tribute to false idols, so it's getting harvested by evil. So I didn't think that this was going to be such a thing with Charlie being sacrificed, which is what I believe it was. So there's a New Age maxim, which I always butcher, but it goes something to the effect of wherever attention goes, energy flows. And then they harvest that energy. So I did breakdowns years ago of the Gothard Tunnel celebration. It was a huge, it was like an €8 million one-time only performance that had acrobats and choreography. Part of it was done inside the new tunnels they had built, the Gothard Tunnel, which is the longest underground tunnel system in the world that's openly been acknowledged, and it's recently made, like freshly made. So when they were done building the longest underground tunnel in the world, that also delivers supplies to the CERN Hadron Collider. We'll get into that too. So why did they do such a weird, openly, overtly occult ritual, one-time only €8 million performance that was basically a thank you for a tunnel? Thanks for the tunnel. Here's an €8 million show with acrobats where they had to practice and rehearse for months in advance. and make costumes and wardrobe, even though it does have a mock orgy in it. And they showed the audience, which looks like, like Freemasonry is the Freemason audience. It was all weird. And the music was whoa, woo, and moaning, and the guy's wearing a goat head, and there's an orgy, and the Scarlet Woman's there, and then she gets pregnant, and then Moishi from Where the Wild Things comes out, and it looks like a demon is giving birth to one, a guy with a goat head on, like a literal taxidermy goat head. He has an orgy, he has sex with the Scarlet Woman, and then their demon spawn comes out of her bloated belly. Thanks for the tunnel! Why did we see that? Why did they shoot that and have sound and audio? Why did they shoot that for all the world to see? Because it was a big deal for them, and they wanted you to watch it to harvest your energy, no matter what your reaction is. Your attention went to that, whatever energy they could harvest from it, like you're being disturbed or scared or whatever. Isn't that how evil works? They want to take you, they want you to be scared, they want you to be fearful, and then they harvest the energy. I don't think you need Wilhelm Reich tech or weather tech or whatever to harvest energy. I think it's just occultism, and demons want blood sacrifice. And when you watch a thing like Charlie getting sacrificed, and then you laugh or you gloat about it, demons are waiting to enter into the people that make fun of it or mock it or think it's funny or say who cares. And then that person is made just a little bit, if not a lot more evil. And that's why people, like you see the disturbing TikTok compilations of how people gloated over him being killed. You're watching demons peer through the eyes of people that they have control over. And you're seeing part of a compromised person, and you're seeing the demons. And, the CERN Hadron Collider, to go back to that for a moment, is a weird thing. I've been talking about it for years, trying to figure out what it meant. I think they just want to open a portal to the abyss with the CERN Hadron Collider, and somehow they think they have technology that can do that. I mean, one of the times they fired up the CERN Hadron Collider, well, the first time they tried, an owl flew into it, and they have video of this, which is very strange. And you see an owl flying in and like, we got to clean the lens or whatever. It didn't work because of an owl, whatever the hell that means. But then when they did fire it up and it worked, they said, we fired up the Hadron Collider and something may have come through. What? I thought you were trying to do mini recreations of the Big Bang. What are they doing with the Hadron? You know that the CERN Hadron Collider isn't the only one. They have a bunch of Hadron Colliders. I think China has one, if not more. The U.S. has them. There's the CERN one in Switzerland. Russia has them. There's other Hadron Colliders. I don't know if you know this. But the one at CERN is significant. And it probably means like Cernos or Cernunnos or whatever, which is like worship of God. Cernunnos is the guy who holds the septum piercing in his hand. He has that ring with the balls on the end of it. And he's holding a septum piercing in one hand and a snake in the other hand. Go watch my video on septum piercing. Do you ever see the septum theory videos that people make? Well, I have one of those. And I made one right after Trump got elected. And I said, look at all these septum piercings. And I said, this means... I did a newer video on the septum piercings, but the first one I did was I said, look, Cernunnos is holding it in his hands, and he's controlling these people that are having election meltdowns. A lot of them had septum piercings. Why are they having election meltdowns? I think Trump's a bozo. I don't like him. And I didn't then, even when he got elected. And I said that, what's her name? Kamala Harris. I said she's never going to win. Like she's not being set up to win. She's the chained woman. Her name is Amalak Sarah backwards, and those are two stars in the constellation of Andromeda, the chained woman. And I did a whole video on that after the elections. I said she was never supposed to win. She was set up to fail on purpose. And Trump was set up to win, and it's going to be bad. Trump and Elon together is not good. And go watch my video on Elon is the Austin Powers villain. So anyway, the septum piercing, the devil's got these people, right? And it makes you think of like, well, what did the people look like in Sodom and Gomorrah? Probably a lot of them had septum piercings. A ring through the nose is how you lead livestock around. And when Cernunnos holds a septum piercing in one hand and a serpent in the other, that tells, what else do you need to know? The guy, and he's got horns. He's got antlers. Some depictions of Cernunnos have antlers. One of the other videos, because I did not expect this thing with Charlie Kirk to become what it was. So now here I am with this video. One of the other videos I saw was Pot Awful, and he was mocking it, and he was pretending to cry. He's like, and I thought it was pretty disgusting. And what's the thing that they say on Pot Awful all the time? Jesse P.S. is always saying, "Dear God." But he has antlers and horns. He mocks God all the time. Dear God. Cernunnos is the dear God. I just want to put that out there, all right? Because it was a pretty mean video that Pot Awful made to just let you know, like, what's the big deal about Charlie Kirk? Which I understand, but he mocked the guy being killed. I didn't understand that it was going to be such a big deal to people, but when they talk about the random number generators coming to cohesion or whatever before Charlie was sacrificed, which is the way I'm going to keep referring to it in this video, that's how they know they're on the right track. Oh, look at the random number generators aren't so random. Something's going to happen. And they know what they're going to do before they do it. Just like they knew what they were going to do before the September 11th events happened. And look at the timing of when Charlie got sacrificed. Sad, horror. Rest in peace, surely. And then, I'm kind of coming from a place of ignorance about this. I saw two videos, Legacy Media Validation, and somebody told me I was at their house, and that's how I found out that it happened. And then I saw the Pot Awful video, and I kind of just put it aside, but now here it is. You don't even have to watch other people's videos. You can just look at thumbnails and like, they're still talking about this. And I didn't know that it was going to have such an effect, but they want it to have such an effect. They want us to talk about it. Watching the sacrifice over and over again is giving your energy to where your attention is going to watching that man executed. So sacrificed, sorry. So you're kind of participating in the ritual like Madonna. Do you see what I'm saying? When Madonna's at the Super Bowl saying you are now all participants in a Kabbalistic ritual. Every time you watch it over and over again. I'm not saying to ignore it and that we shouldn't care about it. But I am saying don't be radicalized to violence about it. Evil's opportunistic. They're looking for, and legalistic. They're looking for any and all openings to have access to people. And also I would say don't play video games, because how many more of these like video game playing Manchurian Candidates? You're playing games online, and next thing you know you're in, you have a rifle and a gun in a clock tower. You know what I mean? The first instance of that with the rifle and the clock tower stuff came from Joe Friday on Dragnet. Remember Dragnet? I have a Dragnet whistle. Is this it? I have a Dragnet whistle. Remember Joe Friday? In the 1960s on TV, for everyone to see, they had the kid in the clock tower with a rifle. On TV a long time ago. I wonder, well, that probably happened before JFK. No, it probably happened after, sorry. So JFK, traumatizing everybody. When they tell everybody all over the whole world, stay inside, they did their rituals before the event. Before they put the whole world under lockdown, you can go see the videos. Grimes did something. Madonna did a ritual with masks on. China had they were holding up microbes they were like literally doing a corona dance in China, and there's some other places in Asia too, before it happened, before the world went into lockdowns, they were preparing for it. They were doing their rituals. So before whatever happened to Charlie, they were doing rituals. One of the things that comes to my mind right now that I don't know if it's related is that Lady Gaga went on Saturday Night Live before Charlie was sacrificed. Went on Saturday Night Live, and they said she's just outright doing a ritual, and there's no joke, there's no punchline. She just went and did some kind of ritual on Saturday Night Live. Well, good thing that not a lot of people watch Saturday Night Live anymore because it stinks. But they said, hey, heads up, Lady Gaga did a ritual on Saturday Night Live. What's going to happen next? I don't know. You tell me. Are people making videos about Lady Gaga's ritual and what happened to Charlie? So, again, forgive me from coming from a place of ignorance. I know there's a lot of videos on this. That's why I'm making one. But I kind of wanted to come to you without knowing much of anything about it. Other than I'm like, yeah, this is just this is like a known thing. Like if I'm talking about it, a lot of people know about it. So I'm sure the podcasts are a flutter because they make money talking about this stuff. And they told you probably that this was an energy harvesting ritual. And more importantly, I want to drive home before I end this video. It's a human sacrifice. And you watched a human sacrifice. And people used to watch human sacrifices all the time whenever there was a public execution. Remember the old westerns? Remember Hang 'em High with Clint Eastwood? Public executions and hangings were just a part of life. And there's demons present at places like that. And they want to see who's getting off on somebody being killed. And then it gives them an opening because they want our material embodiment. We're talking about spiritual warfare, which is warfare between us who are corporeal. We have bodies, we're flesh. And incorporeal, that which does not have material embodiment. And this is demonic possession. These entities, or dark forces I like to call them, want to latch on to us and have our experiences because they don't get to. So that's why a lot of demons will share a person's body, like in the Bible when Jesus said, "Who are you?" And the demon said, "We are a legion, for we are many," which it was just, the demons telling Jesus, there's a lot of us in here. So he cast them out into the swine. And then he commanded the swine to drown so that the demons didn't have any place to have any kind of material embodiment, not even in pigs. So that's what's been done to us with Charlie and the tragedy of him being murdered. Yeah, I mean, and watching it over and over again and analyzing the video and slowing it down and freeze framing it, you're watching what they openly know, that they know that this was a ritual. So maybe you don't know it or believe that it was a ritual, but the occultists and rich people, the Skeksis that live in the Crystal Castle out in the desert, maybe you're going to want to go watch my video on what the Dark Crystal was about. I did a movie review of the Dark Crystal. That's who I'm talking about. I think that Charlie didn't want to have anything to do with the Skeksis, and they served him up as a sacrifice. So, rest in peace, Charlie, which I'm sure he is. And, hey, he didn't want to play ball. He didn't want to, he didn't want to work for the Skeksis. So it would seem, which probably led to him, being served up. And, again, a lot of young people did watch it. Maybe it wasn't on my radar because I'm kind of old. But he went and spoke specifically to young people and have an influence on them. So any way that they can, let people down or make them feel bad, and then you watch the ritual, they harvest your energy. Or you watch the ritual and then they put demons in you because you laughed or you thought that it was cool. Or because you made a poor taste video like Pod Awful did, who worships the deer god, who is Cernunnos. and all the other stuff that I said about Hadron Colliders and Gothard Tunnel Celebration. They want you to see this stuff. When you watch the awards events, whether it's movie or TV or Super Bowl or sporting events, and then they have a musical performance, and you're like, oh, look, here's Katy Perry again. She's dressed up as this Scarlet Woman riding on a diamond beast or whatever. It's like, you know, how many times do we need to see Madonna, Lady Gaga, Beyonce, Katy Perry, Taylor Swift? We see them do the same stuff over and over again, black, white, and red. And then they have symbols of ancient Egypt, or upside down pentagrams, or outright satanic occultism. And then it's for as many people as possible to see. Then, you know, Travis Scott goes out and does his Dystopia tour, rather. And then people talk about the Astroland sacrifices and all this stuff. And people talk about, well, that's not true. They don't want to believe it. They want the music. So music is a powerful influence, and it's part of a ritual and a sacrifice. You know, how many times you need to see the pop star girls do the Fallen Angel routine, where they make a video or do a performance in front of a lot of people over and over again in a concert tour. You know, where they fall and then they rise up, and then like Billie Eilish is covered in black goo and has angel wings. They all did it over and over again. Do I need to pick specific examples? So it's rituals. They do rituals, and they want you to know it. And what else do you need me to say? So I haven't seen it, and I don't intend to watch him get killed. And I wanted to do a thoughtful video about it when I decided that I would even do another video about it. Because I thought I was done. My video on Charlie was watch Legacy Media Validation's video on it, because he showed brain scans, and I thought it was an interesting take. And so I know a lot of people are talking about this, but be careful you don't get caught into having your energy harvested anymore, which is why when I did my breakdowns of the Gothard Tunnel Celebration, I didn't show the whole thing. I didn't show the whole ritual, because I didn't want you to have the full experience of being preyed upon. My screen's changing. I didn't want you to have the full experience of having your energy harvested, so I broke up the ritual. And people complained. They said, hey, you didn't show the whole thing. And I'm like, yeah, I know, I didn't want to. So this is my video on that, and I'm going to go now. So, you know, when all else fails, we always have prayer, and it's a powerful technology. We have access to the most advanced technology on the planet that's ever going to be available to us. And that's a direct line to the creator and maker of all things. This is prayer to God. So pray to God. And before you didn't use his name, now you know his name, so use it. You know, in Jesus' name we pray, for his name's sake, for his glory. It's Planet Daddy issue down here. Call your Father who art in heaven. Amen to that.